The story begins in the year 3084. A prolonged war has ravaged China for years, claiming thousands of lives. The population is rapidly declining, leaving China's king Kagemitsu Daigo deeply troubled. To address this dire situation, he decides to seek help from demons. Daigo enters a secret chamber filled with statues of 48 demons. He instructs the priest present to leave, as he wishes to converse with the demons privately. Standing before the statues, Diego pours out his woes. He explains that his father and brothers were killed in the war, and without intervention, his entire lineage faces extinction. He pleads with the demons to help him destroy their enemy, Kaniyama, and ask what they demand in return. Suddenly, a rat appears in the chamber. Diego slays the rat with his sword, but the rat's spirit manifests and declares that the demons will aid him, but only if he offers the body of his unborn child in return. Diego agrees to their terms, allowing each of the 48 demons to claim one part of the child's body. As he seals the deal, a bright lightning bolt strikes from the heavens, marking a cross on his forehead. When the priest returns and learns of Diego's pact, he questions the king's actions. However, unwilling to let anyone discover the truth, Diego kills the priest on the spot. The story advances 20 years after this incident. A young boy arrives in a small village. Meanwhile, an orphaned girl living under the guise of a boy struggles to survive by committing petty thefts. Her parents died when she was a child, leaving her alone in the world. Elsewhere, the masked boy enters a bar, searching for his target. During a dance performance, a masked woman takes the stage. The boy approaches her, fending off security guards who try to stop him. When a swordsman attacks him, the boy blocks the strike with his arm, which gets severed. To everyone's shock, a blade emerges from the stump. The boy defeats the swordsman and slashes the woman's mask with his arm blade, revealing her true face. She is actually a demon disguised as a human. Once exposed, the demon transforms into a grotesque insect and attacks. Despite his injuries, the boy overpowers the demon, severing its monstrous head with his blooded arm. The demon's body crumbles into pieces. As the chaos unfolds, the orphan girl, drawn by the commotion, enters the bar. She witnesses the boy repairing his severed arm, leaving her stunned. Meanwhile, a boy chasing her for stealing his money also arrives at the bar and observes the warrior by regenerating a real leg to replace his broken artificial one. Terrified by these events, the boy and girl attempt to flee. The warrior, however, approaches them, removes his eyeball, and asks, "How do I look?" Horrified, they run away in panic. The orphan girl later confronts the boy pursuing her, knocks him unconscious, and escapes. She seeks out an old man to learn more about the mysterious warrior. The old man recounts that 20 years ago, a magician discovered a wooden vessel floating in a river. Inside was the mutilated body of a child missing many parts. The magician brought the child home and decided to save him. Using corpses and secret herbs, he created a magical elixir to regenerate the child's body. Through electrical shocks, the magician restored the child's heart and gradually replaced the missing body parts. Eventually, the old man visited the magician and gifted him a special sword, saying this sword will be crucial for the child in his fight against demons. The magician infused the child with life through electric shocks. The boy, though blind and deaf, became a fierce warrior. The magician equipped him with blades and other enhancements, training him in martial arts. Over time, the boy grew in a formidable demon-slaying warrior. Many years passed, and one day the magician succumbed to illness. Before he died, he told the boy, "Burn this house and all the magical items, so that my methods do not fall into the hands of Diego. If that happens, he will become immortal and the whole world will be destroyed." After the magician's death, the boy set the house ablaze, reducing everything to ashes. As the flames roared, he heard a mysterious voice. The voice told him that 48 demons had stolen his body parts. To reclaim his limbs, he must destroy all 48 demons using the sword the magician had given him. The voice also revealed that if the boy ventured out to seek the demons, they would appear before him one by one. After hearing this story, the orphan girl decided to join the boy on his mission. She asked him his name. The boy replied, "If you want to know my name, tell me your first." The girl responded innocently, "I don't even have a name." The boy said, "That's not my real name either, but people call me Hayaki Maru." The girl smiled and said, "Then you can call me Dororo." Hayaki Maru tried to dissuade Dororo from coming along, but her stubbornness won him over. One day, while they rested by a riverbank, a large demonic child suddenly appeared before them. Hayaku Mari pursued the child to a ruined temple, where he discovered that many children had died. Their combined souls had given birth to this demonic child. Later, when Dororo woke up, she heard strange noises. Hayaku Maru stepped outside and saw a husband and wife bringing offerings for the souls of the dead children. However, the truth emerged. Years ago, out of fear of war, they had abandoned their children at this very temple and failed. Dororo was furious upon learning this. She threw their offerings back at them, declaring, "People like you don't deserve forgiveness." Angry, she stormed into the forest, with Hayaku Maru following her. Soon after, the owner of a nearby estate appeared on horseback and invited them to his home, claiming he wanted to hear stories of their travels. At the estate, he introduced them to his wife and 7 daughters, who were dressed like Chinese dolls. After eating, Hayaku Maru and Dororo went to sleep. Meanwhile, the 7 sisters debated among themselves which guest to eat first. That night, the sisters transformed into grotesque insects and surrounded Dororo, but Hayaku Maru was ready. When Dororo opened her eyes, she saw Hayaki Maru had slain all 7 demonic insects. The spirits of the children killed in the temple then guided them to a secret room filled with human bones. They realized these were the bones of the children who had been murdered. Suddenly, insect-like soldiers approached. Hayaku Maru and Dororo climbed a ladder to escape. Hayaki Maru suspected that the man's wife was a demon who disguised herself as a priest and lured children to their doom. Hayaku Maru deduced that the demon woman killed children and fed their flesh to her offspring. When she discovered that Hayaku Maru had killed her 7 daughters, she ordered her husband to kill both him and Dororo. Hayaku Maru warned the man to stay away from his demonic wife, explaining she would possess him and enslave his soul. Meanwhile, Dororo went to the nearby village and exposed the priest's true nature to the villagers who had entrusted her with their children. The villagers, armed with weapons, followed Dororo to confront the demon. Back at the estate, Hayaki Maru tried to stop the husband from siding with his wife, but the demon attacked, stabbing both Hayaku Maru and her husband in the chest. The husband died, but Hayaki Maru vowed to avenge him and the children. The demon revealed her true form, and a fierce battle ensued. The spirits of the dead children united to attack the demon, knocking her down. Hayaki Maru seized the moment and used his enchanted sword to cut the demon in two. Dororo arrived just as Hayaki Maru finished the fight, and the demon was destroyed. Afterward, the villagers gathered the remaining insect eggs and burned them. The children's trapped souls were finally freed. As a result of the battle, Hayaki Maru regained his real liver, and the artificial one created by the magician fell out of his body. Hayaki Maru and Dororo set off on their next mission. While walking through the forest, they encountered a terrifying monster resembling a tree with a human head attached to it. The demon incinerated Hayaki Maru with its thick hair, trying to strangle him. Hayaki Maru broke free and realized the monster's true body was hidden inside the tree trunk. Using his blade, he split the trunk, killing the demon. As the demon died, Hayaki Maru's left ear regenerated. A few days later, they encounter another mysterious lizard. This lizard is extremely dangerous and has no hands, using its long tongue to grab and toss Hayaki Maru before leaping onto him. Dororo manages to rescue Hayaki Maru, but the lizard refuses to relent. It grabs Hayaki Maru with its tongue and attempts to chew him. Just in time, Dororo slashes the lizard's eye with a knife, causing it to drop Hayaki Maru. Hayaki Maru cuts off the lizard's tongue with his sword, but the creature continues its attack. Due to its thick, impenetrable skin, it's nearly impossible to kill it from the outside. So that Hayakumaru makes a bold decision. He allows himself to be swallowed so he can cut the lizard open from the inside. Once inside, he slices through its stomach and the lizard is burned to death. After the battle, Hayakimaru regains his throat. For the first time, he hears his own voice and realizes its strength and power. Next, they encounter another monster, this time in the form of an eagle. The eagle, a master of aerial combat, engages Hayakimaru in a fierce battle. It throws him off its back and attacks him with a large stone, eventually pushing him down a steep hill. Hayakimaru manages to save himself by planting his blade into a nearby rock. Meanwhile, Dororo distracts the eagle by throwing stones at it, prompting the creature to chase her instead. Seizing the opportunity, Hayakimaru repeatedly strikes the eagle's face with his sword until he decapitates. Before dying, the eagle says, "If you must hate anyone, hate your father. He is the one who sacrificed you to us." Hayakumaru is left pondering these words as the eagle's body burns to ash. Following the battle, Hayakumaru's left arm regenerates. Hayakimaru and Dororo continue their journey, eventually reaching the border between Diago's estate and Kaneyama's estate. From there, they can see Diago's opulent place. Dororo becomes furious at the sight, recalling how Diago's soldiers brutally killed her parents. She remembers the day Diago's forces destroyed her entire village, accusing the villagers of conspiring with Kaneyama. Dororo and her mother secretly witnessed the carnage, including the murder of her father. That day, Dororo and her mother were the only survivors, forced to wander from place to place. Dororo's mother told her, "Live as a boy until you grow into a strong and good person like your father." A few weeks later, Dororo's mother passed away, leaving Dororo to vow revenge against Diago and his family. Meanwhile, Hayakimaru's right arm is restored. He attaches his blade to a sword salvage from the wreckage of war. Just then, three of Diago's soldiers approaches to integrate him. Dororo, enraged, attacks one of the soldiers, stabbing him in the leg. Hayakimaru smashes a skull over another soldier's head, and in the ensuing fight, he kills the remaining soldiers with Dororo's help. Afterward, the two head to a nearby village. Upon their arrival, Hayakimaru gets into a scuffle, drawing the attention of Diago's son, Tahomaru. Tahomaru invites Hayakimaru to the place, offering him a position in the army. At the place, Tahomaru begins to introduce Hayakimaru to his father, but their mother interrupts. As soon as she sees Hayakimaru, the queen recognizes the cloth around his neck and becomes emotional. When Hayakimaru touches the queen's hand, memories flood back of the day she abandoned him by placing him in a wooden vessel and setting it adrift in the river. Diago had forced her to do it as part of his pact with the demons. Realizing he is Diago's first son, Hayakimaru is overwhelmed. The queen faints, giving Hayakimaru a chance to escape. Later, the queen informs King Diago that their first son has returned, but Diago dismisses her claims, calling them delusional. Meanwhile, Dororo meets up with Hayakimaru by the river. When he reveals that he is Diago's son, Dororo is skeptical. Hayakimaru grabs her hand and shares his memories of what happened in the place. Hayakimaru then tells Dororo, "You vowed to destroy Diago's lineage, so kill me." Shocked by the revelation, Dororo is speechless. As Hayakimaru turns to leave, he tells her they will never meet again. However, Dororo chases after him and stabs him in the back, though not fatally. At that moment, the old man who has been observing Hayakimaru's journey appears. He explains that Diago protected his kingdom by offering 48 of Hayakimaru's body parts to demons. Furious, Hayakimaru declares, "Then I will cut 48 parts of my father's body too, so he can feel my pain." Dororo intervenes, urging him to let go of his hatred, saying, "No matter what, you can't take your father's life." Soon after, two new monsters appear and attack Hayakimaru, pouncing on him like ravenous beasts. Despite their ferocity, Hayakimaru kills them both using his sword. After the battle, Hayakimaru regains both his eyes. For the first time, he sees the world with his own eyes, having previously relied only on sensing energy. Dororo then tells Hayakimaru she has abandoned her quest for revenge against Diago's family. She encourages him to do the same, urging him to let go of his hatred and find peace. The next day, Tahomaru sets out to search for his elder brother. Meanwhile, Diago tells the demons that despite the sacrifice he made 20 years ago, the war in his country is still ongoing. One of the demons responds, explaining that the reason for the continued conflict is that Diago's first son, Hayakimaru, is still alive. The demon reveals that Hayakimaru was supposed to die years ago. Hearing this, Diago decides to take matters into his own hands and destroy Hayakimaru himself. Meanwhile, Hayakimaru and Dororo are ambushed by Tahomaru's soldiers. Hayakimaru instructs the old man to take Dororo and leave, while he stays behind to confront the soldiers alone. Suddenly, a bomb explodes and Tahomaru arrives to personally fight Hayakimaru. A fierce battle ensues between the two brothers. While Hayakimaru's intent is only to stop Tahomaru, his younger brother refuses to relent. During the fight, a third soldier intervenes, attempting to attack Hayakimaru. Hayakimaru breaks the soldier's sword, but a fragment of the blade flies into Tahomaru's neck, fatally wounding him. Tahomaru dies, leaving his mother heartbroken. Overcome with grief and anger, the queen picks up a knife and threatens Hayakimaru. Before she can act, Diago arrives. The queen tries to protect her first son, but Diago without hesitation kills her. Witnessing his mother's death, Hayakimaru is consumed by rage and prepares to kill Diago. Dororo attempts to stop him, but Hayakimaru knocks her unconscious. A brutal battle begins between Diago and Hayakimaru, with both determined to eliminate the other. Ultimately, Diago is severely injured. Despite his wounds, Diago definitely declares that he has no regrets about sacrificing his son for his kingdom. As Diago attempts one final attack, Hayakimaru holds a sword to his neck. However, looking at Dororo, he remembers her ability to let go of hatred and decides to do the same. He lowers his sword and steps back. At that moment, Tahomaru's body begins to move. A demon appears and offers to bring Tahomaru back to life if Diago surrenders his own body. Despite Hayakimaru's protests, Diago agrees to the demon's condition. A monstrous entity descends from the sky, consuming Diago's head and replacing it with a demonic one, placing Diago entirely under the demon's control. Tahomaru is resurrected but is also under the demon's influence. The monster's Diago, now fully possessed, threatens to destroy the entire country. As Diago's spirit briefly regains control, he pleads with Hayakimaru to destroy the demon. Hayakimaru complies, killing the possessed Diago and in the process destroying the demon. Before his death, Diago asks Tahomaru to become the new king of the kingdom. After Diago's death, Tahomaru tells Hayakimaru that he is not ready to be king and insists that Hayakimaru take the throne instead. Hayakimaru declines, saying, "I can't take on any more responsibilities until I recover the rest of my body." Tahomaru promises to wait for Hayakimaru's return and to hand over the throne when the time comes. As a gesture of trust, he gives Hayakimaru their father's sword. Hayakimaru then meets Dororo, who is waiting for him at the border between the two kingdoms. Tears well up in her eyes as she sees him, believing he might never return. As she moves to embrace him, she suddenly kicks him in the stomach and jokes, "Now that your real heart is back, be careful. If the shot goes through, you will actually die." Playful remark hints at her growing affection for Hayakimaru. The two shares a meaningful look before setting out together, embarking on a new journey toward their next mission. So friends, how did you like this movie? Do tell us in the comment comments box. And for such movie explanation, please subscribe to Movie Recap English. See you in the next movie. Till then, bye bye. Take care.